This conviction was strange from the start, not because of what happened, but because of who they said they did it. A rookie cop, a local hero, convicted without a body, without a motive that made sense, without time for the town to catch its breath. They said the evidence was airtight. They said the body cam told the whole story. But if it did, why were parts missing? Why did the timestamps jump? Why did the audio cut out when the screams began? Why did the most important minute look like it had been eaten by the night? We were told to trust what we saw. We were told to ignore what we felt. We were told that good officers don't make brutal mistakes. We were told that bad ones do. We were told that this case proved it, but the story didn't add up. Not for the victim's sister. Not for the sergeant who trained the rookie. Not for the clerk who kept the locker logs. Not for the neighbor who said the shouting came before any sirens. The rookie's name was Eli Hart. He'd been on the job 5 months. Clean record. Quiet kid. I love puzzles. Kept his uniform iron sharp enough to cut your finger. The victim was a high school coach, Brandon Pike. No enemies, so they said, but the assistant coach had been fired last year. The booster club was missing money, and the team's star quarterback had a sealed juvenile record. All of that sat in a dusty file while the town pointed at Eli, because the body cam looked like a confession. It showed Eli arriving at the abandoned motel on County Road 3. It showed him push through a busted door. It showed the coach stumbling back, hands half raised, eyes wide. It showed the flashlight beam shaking like a heartbeat. It showed a flash of silver, then static, then the coach on the floor, blood pooling like spilled paint. A second officer burst in. He yelled for Eli to drop the weapon. Eli dropped. He fell to his knees. He stared at his hands like they belonged to someone else. He whispered, "Call the police." Not a joke, not irony, a shock response. The words people say when their brain can't catch up. The jury heard that. The county heard that. The internet heard that. Call the police. It became a meme, a punchline. They said it proved guilt. They said it caused panic. They said it proved everything. The trial moved fast. Too fast. The prosecutor kept playing the same 20 seconds. Flashlight, silver, static, blood. They said the silver was a knife. They said it was the coach's. They said Eli wrestled for control and stabbed him by accident. Manslaughter, not murder. Mercy and a verdict. But the stab wound was at a strange angle. Downward, deep, like a practiced thrust. Not like a scramble. Not like a flinch. The coroner shrugged. Wounds happen. Angles lie. Blood tells the truth. The blood was everywhere. But the spray pattern was wrong. It looked like 2 events. Not one. A thin mist on the ceiling. Then thick trails toward the door. 2 impacts. 2 moments. 2 weapons. The defense tried to say that. The judge stopped them. Keep to the facts. Keep to the tape. Keep to the 20 seconds. The jury did. Guilty. Eli never cried. He just kept asking for body cam. The original file. Not the copy. Not the courtroom slideshow. The original. Raw. With embedded logs. With telemetry. With the GPS drift that police cameras always carry. He said if they looked at that, they'd see it. They'd see the moment the camera lost control. He said it wasn't him who lost control, but the department's tech said the camera had been reset. Routine. Firmware update. 2 days after motel. He said that was normal. He said the update didn't touch metadata. He said that looking for ghosts in code was a waste of time. The defense rested with a frown. The town moved on, but the victim's sister didn't. Her name is Lena. She kept a notebook. Every call, every rumor, every whisper. She visited the motel and found a screw in the door's frame polished bare, like fingers had worried about it. She found a torn wristband in the dust. Neon green, not from the coach, not from Eli, from a local bar that stamps patrons on Friday nights. The motel incident was on a Tuesday. So why the Friday band? She took it to the detective. He said, interesting. He said, leave it with me. 2 weeks later, Lena asked for it back. Lost in evidence. Happens. She didn't buy that. She called the clerk who logged the body cam. The clerk remembered a man with a lanyard who wasn't from the department. Vendor Patch. Out of town. He spent an hour with the camera. He left with a box that wasn't on the sign-out sheet. The clerk wrote his badge number on a sticky note. Then it went missing. People lose things. People forget, but patterns don't. The sergeant who trained Eli started asking the wrong questions. He asked who had keys to the evidence room. He asked why the second officer's body cam was malfunctioning. At the same instant, the first one went static. He asked why the motel's old security camera was suddenly offline that night and back the next morning. He asked why the assistant coach got a new truck in cash. He got demoted for insubordination. He retired a week later. The town clapped at his ceremony. They cut cake. They smiled. They didn't look at his eyes. He was done smiling. Meanwhile, the video wouldn't die online. People slowed it down. They froze frames. They claimed they saw a third silhouette in the doorway. They argued about compression artifacts. They argued about lens flare. They argued like lives weren't attached. Then a user noticed something small. On frame 312, right before the static, a glint on the wall. Not silver, not from a knife, from a lens. A small circle reflecting the flashlight, like a second camera watching the first. A mirror in the dark. If there was a second camera, where was its footage? Who held it? Who cut it? Why was only one story allowed to exist? Lena brought this to a podcaster. He loved chaos. He posted it everywhere. He called it the lens. That's when the vendor called him. Off the record. Scared voice. He said he worked for the company that managed the department's body cams. He said he updated firmware that week. He said he was told to delete a log, an automated buffer, a file that synced when two cameras saw each other, a handshake file, a file that would prove a second lens was present at the motel. He said he tried to refuse. He said they threatened his job. He said he saved a screenshot on his phone. He sent it. The podcaster opened it live. It showed a date, a time, a device ID. It matched the night. It matched the room. It matched nothing in the public record. The department went quiet. The prosecutor went quiet. The judge scheduled a hearing and then postponed it. Twice, Eli waited in a cell. The town stopped talking about memes. They started whispering about conspiracies. But here's the part that made my hand shake. The second device ID belonged to a camera not on any roster, not on any officer. It belonged to a demo unit, a test lens, a pilot program, a camera worn by a civilian observer. That night, a ride-along, logged as canceled, yet present on the handshake, and the observer's name on the pilot list, the assistant coach. Fired last year, rehired as a community liaison. Quiet paperwork, no announcement, pay from a private grant tied to the booster club. The one missing money, the one the coach had flagged, the one he planned to report. The assistant coach had a key card to the station. He had access to the Bodycam dock. He had friends who preferred touchdowns to questions. He had debts. People saw him late at night at that bar with neon wristbands. He wore one every Friday. He liked to keep souvenirs. He liked to spin stories. He told his bartender that cops don't watch each other. They watch the city. And some nights the city watches back. The sergeant found him. He didn't arrest him. He just sat and asked a single question. Whose knife? The assistant coach smiled. He said, the kind that folds. He said, the kind that snaps. He said, you hear that sound and you know you've already lost. The sergeant left with his hands in his pockets. He called Lena. He said, don't be alone tonight. He said, keep the lights on. He said, lock your back door. He said, check your phone at midnight. When midnight hit, her phone buzzed. Unknown number. A link. A private cloud folder. One file. Video. Title. Motel Observer Cam. She pressed play. Darkness. Breath. A voice whispering, you said he wouldn't come. Another voice, he always comes. The flashlight beam enters the door from the left. Not Eli's. Another officer. The observer hangs back. The coach bursts from the bathroom. Hands up. No knife. He says, I didn't call you. The first officer's voice. Someone did. Then a snap. Metal. Not from the coach. From behind the observer. A silhouette in the doorway. The knife arcs down. The observer gasps. He turns. The lens flashes. Static blooms. For 1/2 second, a face crosses a frame. The second officer. The one who yelled for Eli to drop the weapon. His eyes are flat. His mouth is a hard line. Then the feed cuts. The file ends. The cloud folder vanishes. Lena stares at her black screen. She dials the sergeant. No answer. She texts the podcaster. The message won't send. Her lights flicker. Her back door rattles. A shadow crosses her hallway. A whisper presses against the glass. Call the police. Her phone buzzes again. A new link. A new video. Title, Bodycam, second half. She taps. It loads to 99%. It freezes. The rattling stops. The lock turns from the outside. The door eases open by an inch. A gloved hand slips in. The video leaps to 100%. The first frame shows a dark room. The second shows a knife tip gleaming by a throat. The third shows a badge tilted to hide the number. And the fourth shows a text overlay no one put there. The knife hovered inches from Lena's throat. The badge caught the flicker of her phone screen. Then, the door slammed open. A flash. A shout. Police! The blade dropped. The gloved hand vanished into the dark. The room filled with pounding footsteps and radio static. 2 uniformed officers swept in, weapons raised. But the attacker was gone. Just like that. Vanished. Lena's phone was still glowing. The video had finished buffering. The final seconds played automatically. The camera angle shifted. Someone had picked up the body cam. It tilted, showing the motel floor, the blood, the fallen coach. Then a voice behind the lens said, "We'll say it was him. Rookie's fault. He'll break fast." A second voice answered, "Delete the handshake file. No one will trace it." Lena froze. That second voice, she knew it. Sergeant Cole, the man who told her to lock her door, the one who trained Eli, the one she trusted. She scrolled the video frame by frame. There he was, in partial shadow, handing the knife to the second officer. The camera caught the reflection of his nameplate in the blood, clear as day. Sergeant Cole. A click echoed behind her. Her back window creaked open. Lena turned. Nothing. Just the curtains moving. Then her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Text. "You shouldn't have pressed play." She ran. Out the front door, barefoot, straight into the flashing lights now pooling at the end of her driveway. An officer grabbed her, shouting questions. She couldn't speak. She just showed him the phone. The officer frowned. "This isn't the official file," he said. "Where did you get this?" Lena said, "From the cloud link. Someone sent it." The officer looked confused. "We didn't send that." Then his radio crackled. A voice. "Unit 4, respond to 10 to 54. Officer down. County Road 3. Motel." The same motel. The line hissed. "Repeat, officer down." Sergeant Cole. The officer holding her went pale. Backup unit spun around. Sirens wailed. They left her standing there, breath shallow, heart pounding. She stared at the last message on her phone. "You shouldn't have pressed play." Then another message appeared below it. But someone had to. The screen glitched. The cloud app reappeared. A new folder, titled, "Internal Affairs Confidential." She hesitated, thumb hovering. Then she opened it. Hundreds of clips. Dozens of cases. Officers. Same missing minutes. Same static cuts. Same pattern. Eli wasn't the first. He was just the one who got caught. The system wasn't broken. It was built that way. Each video labeled by date, precinct, and the same vendor tag. Vision Sync Solutions. The same company that updated Eli's camera. Lena recorded her screen. Every file. Every tag. Then her lights flickered again. A single text flashed across the phone. "We're watching you too." The screen went black. Her reflection stared back, eyes wide, trembling. In the background, her hallway filled with the faint red and blue shimmer of police lights. But no sirens this time, just silence. A soft knock echoed from the window. Slow, deliberate, tap, tap, tap. The last sound on her phone was a whisper through the static. Note: stay tuned for more stories like this. Real evidence, real cases, real chills.